Hello guys and welcome. So in this video I wanted to answer the question, what is Tomb Raider? In the background I'm going to have the trailers playing for the reboots of Tomb Raider, but I want to explain what the franchise is, and for anyone who's maybe heard of Tomb Raider, but never actually played it, always wondered about it and so on. Now, it is actually one of the most famous game franchises there is, and the main protagonist is called Lara Croft, who you can see on screen right now. Now, the game originally came out in 1996. It was made by Core Design, which were a British developer, and published by Eidos. Now, Eidos is now a subsidiary of Square Enix, but at the time they were independent. Now, Core Design was a British developer, and so Lara Croft is British. The idea basically is of the series is that Lara Croft is a British archaeologist who goes all over the world to try and find hidden treasures, any lost artifacts, things like that. Like some people might think about Uncharted, but this came way before Uncharted. So, like in fact, I refer to Uncharted as Dude Raider. It's basically just Tomb Raider with a dude. But it does. But I'm not trying to insult Uncharted. Uncharted's a great game. But going back to Tomb Raider, it had a good run going between 1996 until the early 2000s. But then the series needed some like reinvigoration. It needed some sort of rebirth. So what they decided to do was completely reboot the franchise. So you had Tomb Raider in 2013, and then you had Rise of the Tomb Raider, which came after, and then most recently Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now, those three games are actually an origin story of Lara Croft. So they were how she was as a younger girl before she was the Lara Croft that you see in the original game. So in the original game, she is more mature, she is more experienced, more whatever. Like you can see the vulnerability of Lara in the reboot games. But the reboot games are absolutely fantastic. Now, because this franchise has been going for quite a while now, they have also had film adaptations of the game as well. So the original Tomb Raider film was starred Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft. And there was one more recently made. I can't remember who the actress is, but it was very, very good. And Square Enix was actually involved with the creation of the latest movie as well. Now, this game is played in third person. Most of the time, you will be playing with ranged weapons, but not necessarily firearms. So, a lot of times you end up in survival situations where you might have to use, for example, a bow and arrow, an axe, just anything you can to survive. Crystal Dynamics have done an absolutely fantastic job with the reboot. Like I said, I absolutely loved all three of the reboot games. They're really, really set up and really have done justice for Lara Croft and the future of the franchise. And you won't necessarily have to go back all the way to the beginning, like to the original Tomb Raider of 1996. It's kind of old, but you probably can find videos on YouTube. What's amazing about these games, well, with most games that are covering the What Is series, is that there will always be a dedicated fan base. A fan base who really want the game to excel 10, 20, 30 plus years after it was released, because maybe it was their childhood favorite. They just have an extra love for the game. So you can find some people have even tried to remake the original Tomb Raider in like Unreal Engine, but obviously if it's not sanctioned, then obviously I'm not going to show it by the owners. But like I said, there is a big following. Now, they added as well some other things to the game, as you can see on screen. They added the zombies mode and so on, but it's just a side thing. It's really small compared to the main game. The main concept of the game, most of the time, it is single player. You play as Lara Croft, and you're fighting your way and surviving to discover things. But obviously, I'm going over many games here, or to to just survive different situations where you're under threat all the time. And obviously, at this point, I would say, like, Uncharted originally took, I would say, inspiration from the old Tomb Raiders, but then the Tomb Raider in turn has taken inspiration from Uncharted. So it's going round and round and round. And what's really interesting as well, as you can see, they add skins to these games where, like, you can play with the original, like, character models from, like, the old days, which I find kind of funny. Now, the gameplay as well of the reboots, you can see there's a lot of holding your axes, climbing around, and so on. But there is a lot of platforming as well. So it's not just about it's not just a movie. Let's say you are actually playing, and it's quite intense. And you will have sequences in the game as well where you have to run and jump and go over certain sequences, like the whole a dam is collapsing behind you and you have to survive and so on, like crazy intense. If you mess up, you die. You have to try again. Now, when Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out, I actually finished it in one run. I finished it, and it took about 15 hours the first time. But I was so enthralled, I didn't want to put it down. I just really, really wanted to see what would happen next. So as you can see, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now, the game has been left on a cliffhanger, which means we will see more, hopefully, in the future. I don't see them stopping Tomb Raider anytime soon. Been going for a long time. The reboots have been an absolute success. Crystal Dynamics, like I said, have done an absolute fantastic job. And with a publisher like Square Enix backing them, I see this franchise going for many years to come. So when the next game is announced after Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I'll be sure to cover it on the channel, like I have done with the previous games. So yeah, if you're looking for something else to play, if you haven't played Tomb Raider before, it's not a bad idea to start from the reboots. So Tomb Raider 2013, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, they're the origin story of Lara Croft. They're very, very, very good. They're very fun. And what you can also have as well is there is some sort of replayability in terms of difficulty. Like you can play the game again on more difficult modes. But generally, once you have worked your way out through the puzzles, and it'll be the same every time. It's just a case of that when the difficulty goes up, you're more likely going to have to just do more damage with less health and things like that. So anyway, guys, do you like Tomb Raider? Like, let me know in those comments down below. Also, I'm open to suggestions of other franchises I should cover as part of this What Is series. So, yeah. So, Tomb Raider, great game. Thumbs up. You know, really, really good. Highly recommend the reboots. And I recommend the series generally. And if you want, just watch the films as well. It's a great franchise to get knowledge about if you haven't got into it already. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can watch a random video over there. You can watch the latest upload down there. Or you can click down here to subscribe. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.